Hello, friends. Welcome to today's football predictions on Betkraft. Okay, it is a beautiful Monday morning, and it's actually time for our usual football predictions on Betkraft. And today, as we know, a lot of games are going on across the globe. But among these many games, we selected, few of them. Take a thorough look into the recent results for these teams. And also came up with verdicts for these very games. Okay, and in a short while we'll be looking at these very teams one after the other. But I want to ask those of us who are yet to subscribe to our channel to kindly take out time to hit the subscribe button right now so that you don't miss out on our daily games that comes up on this very channel. All right. With that being said, without further ado, let's head to the business of today, and we are starting with the very first match in Bulgaria. We'll have a Kinomor coming up against Levski Kromgrad. And we're looking at Kinomor, the home side. They've been able to achieve, 3 victories in the past 6 games that they had so far. But they've also had 1 draw, as well as 2 losses in the past 6 games that they had. And our side, Levski, on the other hand, have been able to manage 2 wins in the past 6 encounters. Losing 4 out of those 6 games that they had in recent time. And when you take a look at the performances for both sides from home and away perspective, you could see that at home side, Kinomor have been able to achieve 6 victories in the past 10 home games. They've also had 2 draws as well as 2 losses in the past 10 home games. They've won 60% of the home matches. That tells you that they are doing fairly well. And you look at Levski Kromograd, their away side, they've managed to achieve just 1 victory in the past 10 away games, but they've also had 3 draws as well, and 6 losses in the past 10 away games that they had so far. That tells you the away side is not a very fantastic team playing from away. It shows that they've actually lost a whole lot of matches playing from away in that occasion. So you see that the head-to-head proceeding for both sides have also seen Kinomor, the home side, being very dominant, because the last 3 head-to-head meetings have always seen Kinomor defeating this side, winning in all 3. And the last time they met was May this year, and Kinomor played from home on that occasion, winning by 3 goals to 1. So we still do expect a repeat of that very fate. The home side is highly likely to pick up the spoils, and we expect to see home win in this very one. Okay, and that takes us to the next. It is in it is in Iceland. We'll have Stajan coming up against HK, and the home side, Stajan, have been able to achieve 2 victories in the past 6 games that they had. They've also had 2 losses as well as 2 draws, but their away side, on the other hand, have managed to achieve just 1 win, 1 draw, as well as 4 losses in the past 6 recent encounters. When you look at how these 2 teams have performed from home and away perspective, you can see that Stajan, the home side, have been able to achieve 7 victories in the past 10 home games. They've also had 2 draws as well as just a single loss in the past 10 home games that they played out so far. That tells you that each time they're playing from home, they always dominate their opponent and win their matches. And we look at our away side, on the other hand, HK have managed to achieve 3 victories from away, but have lost 8 matches. They've lost 7 matches rather, from the past 10 away games that they had so far. And when you look at head-to-head proceedings, it has you see that Stajan, the last time they met was in June, and on that occasion HK won by 4 goals to 3. But prior to that, we also saw Stajan defeating this side when they played from home by 4 goals to 0. And we look at the entire head-to-head meetings in the past 10. It is Stajan, the home side, who have had the upper hand, because they have been able to achieve victory on 6 occasions out of 10. So we do expect to see the home side winning outright in this very encounter. It is a home win. That's what we expect in this very game. And that takes us to the next for today. It is in Swedish Division 1 North. We'll have Tabi FC coming up against Stocksund. And when you look at Tabi FC, the home side, in the past 6 games that they had so far, have resulted to all of them being a loss for the home side, and they've lost the entire 6 games that they played in recent times. And their away side, on the other hand, Stocksund, have won 4 games out of the past 6 subsequent encounters, drawing 1 and losing 1 in the process. When you look at how these 2 teams have performed from home and away perspective, you can also see that home side Tabi Tabby have managed to achieve just a single victory in the past 10 home games. They've also had 2 draws, but they've lost 7 games in the process. All right, that tells you that 70% of the home games they played out recent times have resulted to a loss for the home side, and it shows that they're not a very good side even when playing from home. So the away side, on the other hand, have been able to Right, Stockton have been able to achieve 2 victories in the past 10 away games. They've also had 1 draw, but have also lost 7 games from away. All right, that tells you that it's not a very strong side from away. But when you look at the home performances from home, you could see that Stockton have actually won 6 games in the past 10 home games, and the last 2 times both teams met saw them playing out a 2-2 draw. Stockton played from home on that occasion. That was in May this year, actually, and prior to that, we also saw Stockton lifting this side, by 4 goals to 1 from away. That was in August last year. So putting all that together, we still do expect Stockton to achieve a result in this, seeing that in the recent games that they played out so far, have seen them winning 4 out of the past 6 games, losing just 1 and drawing 1. So we do expect an away win in this one. It is a big odd, but still, I advise that we try it. We win. That's our verdict for that very encounter. Okay, that takes us to the next for today. It is in Norway First Division, where we have Stibak, who will be up against Asani. Stibak have won they've won 3 games in the past 6 encounters. They've also had 2 losses as well as 1 draw, and the away side Asani have managed 2 wins. They've also had 1 draw as well as 1 loss in the as well as 3 losses in the past recent 6 games that both that they've had. And when you look at the home side, from a home and away perspective, the home side have been able to achieve 7 victories in the past 10 home games. They've also lost 3 games. They've also lost 2 games actually, drawing 1. All right, that tells you that they're doing very well playing from home. And the away side, on the other hand, Asani have managed 3 victories, and they've also lost 7 games out of the past 10 away games that they had so far. And also, what is quite recurring in this very for the home side is that they've been able to in 10 of the past 10 home games, they've recorded over 2.5, over 3.5 or more, on 8 occasions out of 10. And the away side also have seen a very, very similar occurrence, seeing that they too have recorded over 2.5 scoreline 7 times out of the past 10 home games 10 away games that they played out so far. So when you put all that together, and also looking at the head-to-head performance, you see that the last time they met saw them playing out a 2-2 draw, and prior to that we saw Stockton defeating them by 4 goals to 0, and also another 4 goals to 0. So the past 3 head-to-head meetings have always produced a lot of goals, so we still do expect to see a minimum of 3 goals in this very encounter, and over 2.5 either side to win, and over 2.5, that's what we expect. 12 and over 2.5, that's our verdict. Okay, and that takes us to the next. It is in Wales Feeders League, where we have Honeywell who will be up against Caesars. Okay, Honeywell have won 4 games in the past 6. They've also lost 2, but the away side also Caesars have managed to achieve the same fate, winning 4 games in the past 6 recent games, but they've also lost 2 games in the process. And when you look at the performances for home and away perspective, you can also see that Honeywell have been able to achieve 100% victory in the past 10 home games that they have so far. They've won all 10 in the past 10 home games that they played out so far. That tells you how good this team is. They have won the entire matches they have played from home in the past 10. And looking at the away side Caesars, they have been able to achieve 4 victories. They've had 2 draws, but they've also lost 4 games in the past 10 away games that they had so far. And when you look at the head-to-head performances for both sides, you could see that the last 3 times both teams met have always seen Honeywell achieving victory in each of the 3 occasions. So, and the last time they met was in July. That was in Welsh Cup. We saw Honeywell defeating them by 1 goal to 0 from away on that occasion. So in this very game, we still do expect to see the home side achieving a result, winning outrightly in this very one. It is Honeywell to win outrightly. That's our verdict in that very encounter. Okay, that takes us to the next. which happen to be the last for the day. It is actually in Finland, where we have SJK who will be up against Nixtan. Okay, when you look at the recent games for both sides, you could see that the SJK have won 2 games, but they've also lost 2 and have drawn 2 in the past 6 recent encounters. But then you look at Nixtan on the other hand, they've won 4 games out of past 6 games that they had, and they've also lost 1, and they've had also 1 draw in the past 6 encounters. When you look at how these 2 teams have performed from the recent games they have played so far in the past, from home and away perspective, you can see that the home side SJK have been able to achieve 6 victories in the past 10 home games that they had so far. They've also had 2 draws as well as 2 losses in the past 10 home games that they had. And when you look at which side on the other hand, Nixtan have managed just a single victory, but they've also had 4 draws as well as 5 losses in the past 10 away games that they had so far. Okay, and when you take a closer look at how these 2 teams have the score line in their games, you can see that for the home side SJK they've been experiencing high scoring encounters. They've been in the past 10 home games that they had so far have resulted to 7 out of those 10 games having a scoreline that is actually pretty much high and over 2.5 occurring. And you see that we side also have seen a very similar situation, seeing that actually 6 out of the last 10 away games that they have so far have actually produced an over 2.5. And when you look closely, you can see that the last 4 away games for the away side have produced over 2.5, and the last 3 home games for the home side have actually seen over 2.5. So our value for this very encounter is actually to see a minimum of 3 goals in this very game. It is an over 2.5. That's our value for that very encounter, and that brings our prediction for you today on Betkraft to a close. And I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope your ticket goes green. Remember, it is only a football game. Try to play responsibly, play with only what you can afford to lose. Anything can happen in football, and thereby changing the course of the game. All right, that being said, tomorrow is another day, and we'll be coming up with our predictions on this very channel. Don't miss out. But until then, keep winning.